Nachi free.
My sincerest condolences to the families and friends of the victims of the worst mass shooting in U.S. history that took place this Sunday, June 12, 2016, at the Pulse nightclub in Orlando, Florida. I feel kind of odd weighing in on this, and yet I feel compelled to, because this is a critical event that has touched millions of people. I live in Florida, so it's kind of touched me in that way. And I already know someone who knows someone who, fortunately, this person survived. But I think it's important that we all, anyone who cares to, and I don't think it's an obligation, a social obligation to comment on this event, but considering the issues that it brings up, which are gun control, radical Islamic terrorism, mental illness, homophobia, and quite a few others, I'm sure. Those are the four that come off the top of my head. Government incompetence with the FBI. I don't want to blame the FBI either. How can we solve these problems? If there's anything I would like to make with this video, or this video to serve a purpose, is to add a voice to what are the solutions to this. And there's no way that you could make a video like this and make such a suggestion without voicing what your political views are. I have to look. I will say that I am very pro-gun. I am very pro-Second Amendment. Yet I have to concede that I am sort of changing my mind. I hate the word nuanced because I think it's so overused. But in this case, I think it's very true. There are many nuances to the issue of guns in the United States. I don't want to get into all of them, but I think I've realized that yes, why does anyone need an AR-15? Really, do you really need an AR-15? Yet I don't think the answer is to ban them, just make them extremely difficult to acquire. That's not simply a right to bear arms. Maybe we should see this as a privilege. And yet you cannot ignore Islam. I'm sorry. And just religion in general and how it rears its ugly head. But no, it's specifically Islamic terrorism. And for anyone who's like, no, it's all about guns. No, it's guns, it's Islam, it's mental illness, it's homophobia, it's everything. It's all these issues. Homophobia, I don't know how we could solve that problem. I think we're making some pretty good strides. It seems to me. I mean, aside from this is such a freak accident, which I hope is the last of the mass shootings. Not that it's an honor, but let this be the ultimate one. Done. Can we have no more? And a lot of things, this could have been avoided had we had the right regulations that would have kept a guy like this from buying that, at the very least, for sure. That's the number one problem from here. I mean, if you want to prioritize and stack the issues or the problems, gun control number one. And it's interesting to see how it's playing out in the mainstream media and even on YouTube. I love YouTube. I get most of my information from YouTube. In my opinion, YouTube is the ultimate playground and battlefield of ideas. And it's interesting to see some of my favorite YouTubers, I'll mention some of them, Stefan Molyneux, covering things that I did not see in the mainstream media very next day on Monday. And I love watching Morning Joe, but there was maybe they did go over some of the same topics. I didn't get to listen to everything everybody said. But I found it interesting, some of the things that Stefan Molyneux was pointing out. For example, I may be misquoting, but supposedly the killer, whose name I don't want to mention, I don't want to give this piece of garbage, this human tumor, any more credit than he deserves. Not that there's any credit to be given, but nonetheless, that he supposedly sold his house for $10 to a relative. I don't know, just information like that, because it does seem, without getting conspiratorial, because I don't like to entertain conspiracy theories, but it does seem a lot of people in the mainstream media do not want to even touch the word Islam. and much less radical Islamic terrorism. And that is an issue. That is a driving force behind that. And for anyone who doesn't know, it's about God. No, look at what happened in Paris this week as well. The French police couple that were stabbed to death by a radical Islamic terrorist, pledging his allegiance to ISIS. Stabbing, it's not a problem with guns. Yet we definitely have to say we have a problem with guns in this country because the Saturday before the U.S. mass shooting, the worst U.S. mass shooting, you had, I don't want to mention his name either, but the sick, twisted individual that murdered Christina Grimmie, the YouTube star. And that's the beauty of YouTube also, that it has so much talent, so many people offering stuff on YouTube. But anyway, this is not a promotion for YouTube either. It's just, I love the fact that there is so much more information you can gather from YouTube. You gotta verify the sources too. I'm not someone to be trusted. This is strictly an opinion and a impassioned opinion piece at that, if I can even call it an opinion piece. What I would love to see from this are solutions to this. In terms of radical Islamic terrorism, that many people on the right, look, two good examples of what I'm talking about in terms of the way this particular issue with guns is being presented. You want to see an extreme right-wing example of it? Watch a guy named Steven Crowder and his take on the Orlando shooting and his take on AR-15s. And then watch Samantha B. And she did her piece, and it was all about gun control. And how that's a problem, which it is. I couldn't, like, I was getting angry because I'm very pro-gun with her, but I'm like, you can't deny it. What I wish she would have talked a little bit more about was about radical Islamic terrorism. And you cannot hide that. And if we do not address that issue, we're going to need guns. I'm sorry. And I don't want to be calling for that. I don't want to get into an us versus them. I don't want to be talking like that kind of stuff. I really don't. But there are people who are pushing other people to the brink of kill or be killed. And we need to do something about this. And as far as Islam, one thing's for sure, we need to be able to talk about this. We need to be able to do things like, for example, drawing the Prophet Muhammad, which I'm not going to do. Out of respect, honestly, out of fear of getting killed. I'm a coward. Why do you think I wear a mask? Okay, but out of fear, number one. But honestly, out of respect, fine, okay. But that antagonizes you so much. All right, fine. Why push that? Especially when there's other people doing it. If nobody was doing it, I wonder, would I? See, the intent is there. My intent is there. And I could easily put up a bunch of pictures of Muhammad. Why? I want to prove that there's no need to antagonize. We can have peace on this earth. I honestly believe this is naive. If it were not for religion, if it were not for the falsehoods that people blindly follow and have been blindly following for thousands of years, things that are proven to be false. And this is what we get. We get these lone wolf, these sick, twisted individuals who clearly have mental issues. I don't want to mention his name, but the murderer that pledged his allegiance to ISIS for the massacre that took place at the Pulse nightclub was a mentally ill individual. And that mental illness was taken even further because of that virus that is known as religion and this particular pill or this particular virus known as Islam. I'm sorry. It's got to be said. And we have to be able to say it. And I shouldn't have to fear for saying it. But I still like wearing the mask. Fear or no fear, I love this mask. Okay? I love this mask. But anyway, look. I don't want to turn this into a soapbox. I don't want to, there's nothing to be funny about this. I do believe that we could have peace on this earth if everyone accepted the reality that this life is all we'll ever know. It's all we'll ever have. And all we have is each other. And I don't want to go into that little, it's about love, and love's gonna, love is not enough in this one, okay? We need to be vigilant. I wish I had a clear-cut solution to the problem with radical Islamic terrorism other than annihilating ISIS, Al-Qaeda, the Taliban, Hezbollah, Hamas. I don't know, but let me not overstep my bounds on this one, because I'm not in the military. I'm not going to be going out there. So I don't want to be calling for things that I'm not going to back up. And that shouldn't happen. Can we do this? Can we do this without bombing? Can we do this without bloodshed? Because I've heard this notion, oh, you can't bomb an idea, but we can diffuse it. We can diffuse bad ideas. We can falsify them, and we could show them for the falsehoods and the toxicity that they are. And I think that's what we need to do with all religions. Okay, look, so nobody says, hey, you're still an Islamophobe. Yeah, you know what I am? I'm kind of an Islamophobe. I'm a mobophobe. I'm afraid of mobs. I'm afraid of mobs that blindly follow bad ideas to their own deaths, to their own destruction. I really don't know what else I can say. I wish I had solutions to these problems. Other than we need to talk more about them. We need to follow up on what we talk about them. And I know we can. That's part of the reason why I also feel compelled to make this video. I feel, it's easy for me to say this, but I feel a little optimistic about life on this planet. Yeah, despite these horrific tragedies, I still believe life is worth living. And life is worth fighting for. I just hope we don't have to fight that hard for it. I don't think we really do. Thanks for watching.